What's going on, everybody? What's going on? It's your boy Deonte Burden, aka Mr. Short Dollar himself. Got a quick live feed for you guys. I know I've been out the net a lot lately, guys. Y'all gotta forgive me. Been knee deep with tax season, trying to make sure I got everything connected right here. But yeah, your boy been knee deep with tax season, so I've been putting a couple of videos out. Still doing the shows. But it's been tough through the live feeds. But I want to come with you guys with a live feed today, talking about how to manage new business startup loans. Because you see there's so many videos out there today in regards to how to acquire a loan. They tell you how to get access to get 10, 20, $50,000, all these different, get maxing out all these damn credit cards and stuff like that. But the issue still comes up, especially if you're new in business, you know your craft, you know the actual product you're creating, things like that. When it comes to the operation and manager side, that's where a lot of people get lost. So if you're in a situation where you have, move this mic over a little bit, okay. If you're in a situation where you have acquired a new loan, but you're still new in business and you want to just get used to the process of having a business loan, okay, I'm going to give you guys some instructions that can help you out so you don't be in a position where, okay, now you got this loan and then a couple months later it's in default, or then you got certain things. Of course, it doesn't necessarily go back to your personal credit until it hits the default level, but we want to be able to avoid that and also keep the actual business loan, the business name, in good standing. So I'm giving you guys some tip based on that. Before I get to running my mouth, guys, remember I am Deonte Burden, aka Mr. Short Dollar himself. You know the Mr. Short Dollar YouTube channel. We talk about personal finance, business, entrepreneurship, investing. We have over 600 videos on the Mr. Short Dollar channel. We have a grant playlist with at least active 150 different grant opportunities for you guys to take advantage of. Right now, we're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Make sure I ain't forgetting nothing. The main hub is the Mr. Short Dollar YouTube channel. That's why the videos are stored there. So regardless of what platform you are watching us on, I appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you go check us out on Mr. Short Dollar on YouTube. Again, today we're discussing how to manage a new business startup loan. So when we first, get to thinking about it, I first want to say what's up to everybody that is tuned in. Excuse me. I'm sorry. My mouth is getting dry. First, we get to start talking about business loans and how to manage them. We know from the inception, what do lenders look for in order to give out business loans, okay? The thing when we start looking at loans in general, typically from an individual side, lenders typically look at two things, that being your income and your credit. Okay, income and credit from a personal loan. When you start going to the realm of a business loan, they look at 5 different things. They look at the income, the credit. They look at collateral that you may have. They look at the experience that you have and the industry. Those 5 are income, credit, collateral, experience, and industry. Okay. Typically, with the personal, if one of those two is off, the loan get denied. With the business loan, if two of those five are off, that's when it get denied. The issue that comes up, this is what everyone needs to understand. That's why it's so important to make sure you're having conversations with your bankers. It's good to listen to Mr. Short Dollar. It's good to listen to the videos and people like that. But it's very important to have a relationship with your banker, because out of those five, income, credit, collateral, experience, and industry, every lending institution may put weight on different ones. You may go to a Bank of America, they may be more on credit. You may go to a Chase, they may be more on experience. You may go to a Wells, they may want to look at how much collateral you have. That, even SBA, whatever. It's very important that you talk to the banker, because they're the ones to be able to, number one, they're the one giving you the damn money. So when they give you the money, you want to know what they want to see. But it's very, very important you harnessing relationships. Remember, I always say, guys, business is all about relationships. It's one thing when you go into a position where it's always, palms up. We want to make sure we're doing palms up, palms down. That way, we're securing relationships. We're putting ourselves in a position where we can always come to, and they can always come to us as well. Because that's one of the things about it. I have a lot of times where I deal with a lot of different bankers. Me being an accountant, a lot of times, they have people that come to them that haven't had their taxes done in a couple of years and stuff like that, and they're trying to get a business loan because the actual loan process is going to require excuse me, that the actual person that applying his current on taxes. Hey, Deonte, this is somebody, you get those relationships going. I've been in business over 20 years. I have many bankers that will send people to me that aren't current in their taxes to send them to us to get their taxes done and stuff. It's relationships. People looking to get approved for a business loan, they give them their criteria, depending on how that lender is set up. They're looking at credit, they're looking at collateral, experience and stuff. I can, direct them to the person I think be the best suited for them. Relationships, guys. Remember, that's so important to people in business. Business is all about relationships. A lot of times we're in such a rush. I got to get this money. I got to get started and stuff like that. But that's what happens when we force things. We rush, we miss stuff. And that's what happens. We all have to keep starting over and starting over and starting over. Or you get put in a position that's not going to be the best for you, big picture wise. Now you got your damn loan, 15, 20, 30%. You got that $50,000, $100,000. But that loan payment is so dang much. You wish you didn't even borrow that money 3 or 4 months into it, okay? So just be smart. Take your time. Business is all about relationships. Again, fundamentally two things. On the personal side, income and credit. One of those off, probably get denied. Business side, income, credit, industry, collateral, and experience. You live two of those are off, that's when the business loan is denied, okay? Kind of keep that in mind. So we start talking about how to manage a new business startup loan. So we go through the process. You go through filling out the different things. And I'm going to actually do, once tax season over, I'm going to go a lot more in depth into loan application, things like that. Not necessarily send you to a specific lender, but things for you to be, more savvy about that you need to bring to the table, because I'm not a big proponent in trying to tell people what they need to do to get a Navy Federal credit or whatever, get these particular loans. And I'm just saying, I was just looking at a YouTube channel, the hack where you can get $10,000 for Navy Federal. You can get this card for that, and you get this damn loan, and the rate is not most advantageous for you. I'm in the thought of mind to make sure when you go in business, you stay in business. Okay, we do business, not business. Okay, we don't want to do business, we want to do business. So that's why I want you guys to always stay on top of that. So again, we'll start talking about how to manage your new business. Your new business loan. One thing we always want to know that when you sign a business loan, you've seen the videos before I've done in regards to a personal guarantor. When it's actually a business loan, the business is detached from you personally. What that means by the use of the loan is running off the tax ID or the tax identification number of the particular business, right? So they'll have an individual sign for that loan, being a personal guarantor, that being the person that is signed for. It doesn't hit your personal credit, but just in the event that the business does default on that loan, they will come after that individual. It's very hard to acquire a business loan without having a personal guarantor. If a person looks for a loan without that, they're typically going to be at a higher rate because it's just more of a risk factor, a higher risk factor for the actual the lender to be able to give it to you. So when you got it started, that at the end of the day is running off, the business's quote unquote credit. But we want to make sure that we're avoiding the issue of it being in default, because if it does go in default, the lender can come back to the actual individual that is the personal guarantor, or in theory, theoretically co-signing for the loan. Okay, so I'm going to just have quick discussion with you guys. Feel free to chime in. You got any questions, concerns, anything like that? I'm here, like, again, I am Deonte Burden, aka Mr. Short Dog himself. Today we're discussing how to manage your new business startup loan. Streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I'm about to keep saying TikTok, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Okay. What I was about to say. All right, a couple things we want to go over again in regards to the loan. Pretty easy steps, just kind of just rule of thumb. Okay, you went through the process, you've got the loan, SBA loan from Bank of America, Chase, community lending, whoever they gave you the loan. The first thing you want to make sure we prioritize the loan payment. That means that when we're doing business, guys, when you're doing business, always remember, you have those what we call fixed costs with your particular business. Rent, certain utilities, things like that. It's pretty much going to say utilities may vary for the most part, but we have certain costs that are fixed, certain insurances, rent, that loan payment has went along with that, right? So we want to make sure at the end of the day, before anybody gets paid, la-di-da-di, everybody, you, employees, anyone, that we're able to cover that particular loan, right? So we want to make sure that if rent $500, if actually the insurance is another $100 and the loan payment is $200, that's what, 5, 6 plus 2, that's 700. I think the math is right. We want to make sure that we can at least cover that every month with the business. That is our priority. We're not hoping, we're not thinking, we're not, hey, I got to take care of this, I got to get this for me. No, we want to make sure that we have to do that. Covering those fixed costs is super, super important. We got to make sure we do that, okay? Far too often, people look at what's coming in, but don't necessarily focus on what's going out. And they definitely be focused on what's left over after things went out. So you got to take yourself from not being the priority when you're actually paying your actual responsibilities with your particular business. I know I'm going down blank today. Very, very much so. And we've done videos on that in the past in regards to knowing just how to take care of, make sure those actual costs, those being the fixed and the variable fixed costs always stay the same. Variable costs are the ones that change each month. Make sure we stand on top of that. But you got to make sure you making that loan payment a priority. You have to make sure that's getting taken care of first. Okay. The second thing is, if you can, most initially, until usually something bad happens, most lenders from a small business, they want to be able to draft it out of the account. They want to be able to draft out the account, have some kind of account where they can draft those payments out of. So yeah, and it's usually to protect them just in case of your forgetfulness. And it's usually kind of advantageous of you to do it, just get your forgiveness as well. On the drawback happen, what you have is what you have. You may not have that particular money in the account. That's why, again, we go back to making that priority. And it also goes back to what I always stress to people: proper business planning. Don't just get the money and then try to figure it out afterwards. How you plan together? Access to capital is so key. But don't get the damn money and then just like, hey, we'll figure out what we can do with it later. If you have certain things you need to be doing, with the business to keep it going, you want to make sure we make any decisions, make any plans, there's actual dollar return, things like that. That's going to be attached to it. It may not be that particular time. It may be something you're investing in now that you can recoup later. But you want to make sure that when you acquiring loans, any kind of funding to your business, you have a plan for how you're going to take advantage of that funding. Okay, you just acquiring that money and trying to figure it out later. And let me say this too, because this was one of the things even with the disaster loans when people were getting it. I was saying I was a big proponent. Once you do acquire the loan, if at a certain period, 6 months to a year, you couldn't all of them put in place, just pay it back. Just set it right there in escrow and pay it back. No, don't try to obtain it illegally or anything like that, but just take advantage of the funds where they're allocated for you to do it. But if you know that it's going to come up, you have to start making payments sooner than later. Now, you need to make sure you do proper planning to be able to put you in a position to take advantage of the money you have coming in. But those automated payments, it's just, we know how disciplined we are. We know if we have certain bills that come to our home and stuff like that, we're going to stay on top of it or not. Or we know we need some kind of reminders and things like that. So make sure that you try to have some kind of automatic drafts or something like that to assist you with that. But again, most lenders will also require some kind of automated drafts until maybe they do a couple drafts and no money is there. then they may have certain restrictions where they want you to mail it in, things like that. But things get a little funky from that standpoint because they may start wanting you provide certain information, things like that, on a more active basis. In regards, they may be asked for certain, proof of income, proof of receipts, proof of invoicing, and things like that. So we want to try to stay, in front of the curve as much as possible. Okay. The third thing is you want to avoid taking on any kind of additional debt when you're doing this, because again, if we got this fixed debt that's coming out of our account, and we have to make sure that we're making enough money to cover this particular debt. We don't want to be putting ourselves in a position where we're putting on more debt, borrowing more money to pay off the money that we owe. Again, we don't want to try to get more money to pay off the money that we owe. Okay. When you do those kind of things, now it's easy to pay Joe back instead of paying Joe, Earl, Stacy, Rick, from a common sense standpoint. I understand things happen. I understand, business gets slow and stuff like that. But math is still math. You can't pay off one damn person when you're on 4 people. Okay. So you just got to be kind of diligent with that. Far too often people theoretically may see it with the sometimes with debt consolidation, people will say, okay, well, I owe this, I can get this at a cheaper rate, and I can pay off that old loan, pay off the old loan. That's fine with that. But we talking about not paying off a loan and having a new loan with a lower payment. We talking about having somebody we owe and then borrowing more and more money. That's one of the problems you see a lot of times online. A lot of times people promote, hey, go to this place, you get approved for this and get approved for that. You can get this amount of money in your business and stuff. That's all well and good. But now, I mean, you're borrowing the money. But keep in mind, you got to pay the damn shit back. So if you don't have an actual structured plan on how you're going to pay people back and how you're going to pay them back, you're going to pay them back because you're going to have to make income at a rate that's higher than you have to pay them back. If I'm borrowing money at 5% and I'm making revenue at 5%, that's 0%. Or if I'm making revenue off of this asset that is acquired at 4% or 3%, son gonna have to give. I'm just letting you guys know. You got to do math. And if you're not good with math, but you're great with your craft, go find some damn body who is. Go find somebody else. A lot of times you think because that joker sitting at that table, he ain't doing nothing but pressing stuff in that calculator, or the lawyer already got this stuff around the computer. You ain't paying for you're not paying the lawyer, the accountant, the architect, the surveyor. You're not paying them for what they're doing. You're paying them for what they know. Remember that you're paying them for what they know. And I'm telling you, the little $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 that they're asking for is crumbs. It's crumbs. If you turn around and get your ass $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 in debt, $2,000 or $3,000 up on the water with fines and stuff like that, it ain't worth it. Pay those people, okay? Pay those people. Let me get my camera together. I'm looking in the damn wild blue yonder with everything. So we want to make sure you are avoid any kind of additional debt. That's a tough thing because a lot of time people in business, especially start getting that fever where you got access to this loan, I got access to that loan, and we get it twisted. We're not looking at you in regards to I got to pay this stuff back. Remember, whatever rate you're borrowing at and that asset that you're acquiring, just say I'm borrowing at 5%, and I'm going to buy something that costs $5,000. They can, make me more money. I may want to hire more people. I may want to get a new machine or whatever. Remember, the math still got to work. If I borrow this at 5%, the return on that investment has to be greater than 5%. Remember that, guys. It has to be that for the math to work. That's just common sense. What's up, Chris? What's going on, brother? What's happening? You just got to remember that, guys. It's that simple. Not I got to borrow this so I can buy this and make more money. You may buy something and make more revenue, but you may make less of a profit because the money that you're making is still, from a percentage standpoint, is still not going to be greater than the rate that you're paying to pay that loan back. And if you don't get that concept, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, this is what I do for a living. There are a lot of people out there that do the same damn thing. It's just, again, some reason why as business owners, because they ain't swinging a damn hammer, they ain't turning the wrench, they ain't out there sweating, figuring this stuff out for you, You don't figure, man, that guy want to charge me X amount of dollars and all that kind of stuff. Man, I went to the damn lawyer. They actually want to charge me $300-400 for a contract and all that. Man, I can get it on Google. Get it off Google you want to. Yes, every damn lawsuit you get, you're going to lose. Trust me, guys. Pay people for what they know. Now, you can do the Google background checks and all that other kind of stuff to find out who's credible, who's not credible, right? I get that. But don't try to go into a world that's not yours, okay? We got some DIY projects out there. Cool, I get it. But sometimes you can't avoid getting the proper people in place to put you in the next level, okay? Especially when we start talking about, these debts and stuff like that. Remember, I always kind of keep in mind when we acquiring these debt, the rate that we're borrowing at, we want to make sure whatever we're acquiring with that loan is going to come back at a higher rate. Just think about it like that. If I'm going to borrow $1,000 at 5%, the asset that I'm going to acquire is going to bring me more than a 5% return. It has to be that way. Otherwise, I'm telling you, you're going to be SOL. We don't want to be that way. We want to make money. Okay. And we make money after everybody's been paid back. Okay. Not, just a feeling of what we got in the bank. Okay. Because when you get that loan, the money's sitting in your bank, you're feeling good. After a couple months, you're paying out. And now you don't know what to do. Now you're out there trying to get your OnlyFans page. We don't want to be doing that, okay? We all grown. We want to be enjoying ourselves and our money. And so many people kind of lost it. You seen with the pandemic money coming in because the money was borrowed with no clear plan of action. And it was output, and no input at a higher rate. And that's what happened. I apologize for the technical difficulties. We're back in the game. Boom. Yeah, I was having little issues with my internet. We're back. The bill paid, but they still acting funny with Xfinity. But yeah, guys. What I was saying, we were talking about how to manage your new business startup loan. I was just going over uh, from a strategic standpoint. So many people focus on acquiring loans. You just get this loan, get funded for this for your loan, get funded for that, and the craft is not taught because most people don't know. When you're borrowing money, when you're borrowing money for your business, remember when you borrowing money, you have to be borrowed the dollar amount you borrow and the cost to borrow. The cost is borrowed, in other words, is the interest rate. whatever asset you're looking to acquire, be it equipment, be it a building, be it people, they have to make a higher return than what the amount that you borrowed. I borrowed 1,000 at 5% interest rate. Whatever I spend it on, the equipment, person, building, has to have a return greater than 5%. You got to think that way. Remember what I said. And if you don't know how to do the math to figure that out, or even have somebody to do that and explain to you in English, keep searching. Don't get involved with that stuff, because like I said again, we've seen this with the pandemic. People borrow money to have money, but they didn't know how to, mathematically understand whatever I'm borrowing, I got to make a higher rate. You have to. And I'm telling you, so many folks have spent money, gotten these loans, bought stuff, and the money that they're making good money, but mathematically it doesn't necessarily work, because again, after they've paid everybody off, rent, utilities, loan payment, hell, they still at home, frying spam. And we don't want to be frying spam. We want to be eating good ham, okay? So we're going to try to avoid that. Again, could be putting extra payments towards the actual loan payments. You want to have it, the term, shorten the term up with doing it and stuff like that. But make sure when we doing that kind of stuff, that is something that can help you, again, because most business loans are on a fixed basis. So if you want to reduce it from 10 years to 9 years, 8 years, however you want to do it, that's fine. But there may be other products that you can invest in to actually yield you a better rate, if you don't have a problem with the actual the term that's associated with it. The last thing, guys, again, we're talking about how to manage your new business startup loan, guys. This right here is very, very important, because again, I'm an individual. I've acquired SBA loans, and this is all pre-pandemic. Had nothing to do with SBA, the pandemic loans. I've got SBA loans over $150,000 at $150,000, and I can sit here and tell you, stuff happens. And I'm one of the first to tell you, hey, any mistake that can be made, I've made those mistakes. That's why I can be, transparent with you guys about doing that, and I can be transparent. Like, I don't deal in the 15, 20, 30% loans and stuff like that. I'm not saying I haven't, but I did it when I didn't know any damn better. I'm 20 years in the game. And I know mathematically there's nothing I can go out here and make and do in the streets that's going to make me 20% or doing it outside of drugs, So that's why I can just share that with you guys in regards to make sure we make these kind of investments, again, in people, buildings, equipment. The math has to work. So, but the last thing I want to get to, and this is super important, have communications with the lenders. Here's the deal, guys. Now, again, could you call somebody and call them on the phone, and you just got the most ignorant, unprofessional person in the world answering your phone call? Absolutely. 9 times out of 10, you're going to get somebody, that really, they don't care to hurt you, or they don't care to hurt you. They may want to help you, but they don't really care. They just want to, go home at the end of the day. Most of the times, if you actually even talk to somebody where you're having a serious problem with that, they'll be willing to help you, because at the end of the day, if the bank isn't getting any money in, they're not making any money. The bank is not trying to be an asset acquisition company. They're not trying to house properties. They're not trying to house businesses. They want to get their damn money, and they can't do anything to get their money back. So if the money is coming in, even if it's coming in a little slower, give them a call. What giving them a call can help you avoid fees. Giving them a call can help you avoid negatively impacting your business credit score, things like that. It can also help you avoid them doing certain things, like, because they may want to send a auditor out there to the bid and let them say, listen, man, this guy ain't paying us back. What are they really doing? Do we need to go out there and do an audit and just screen everything? And when you're signing these, to receive these particular loans, you put yourself subject to that particular stuff, or they can come to your business location and start doing these particular things. Have communications, okay? I ain't got it. It's slow. Now, here's the deal. When we start negotiating with lenders and just say things again slow, you got to stick to it. So even if that causes you to be uncomfortable at home, in the grand scheme of things, you got to stick to it. Now, if listen, I don't give a damn what I'm going to do. This ship is going to sink. I don't know. I'm just telling you right now. This is the Titanic 2023. It's a big old hole. It's going to start moving to get everything together. Don't go broke trying to sit here and keep something going, and it's not gonna work. See, it's one thing to just say, look, we're in a slow patch. We're in a slow patch, and we can just with a little cash infusion, with a little time and stuff, I can work it. Okay. Realistically, like, listen, man, the market has changed. Right now, no one is buying CDs anymore. No one is buying cassette tapes anymore. No one will buy an 8-track. The market is gone. So we just got to find out some new way to pivot and to just make new money. If we can't find a new way to pivot and make new money, we need to get out of business. And it happens all the time, guys. Okay. It happens all the time. But you got to just have, the realist yourself. No one likes feeling like they lost. No one does, right? But at the end of the day, we got to be smart about things, okay? We want to be proactive as possible. That's what we're talking about, making making the actual loan a priority. I'm taking care of that first. Try to get those automatic payments, take the human aspect out of it, because we got a lot of stuff going on. We're taking care of this business. We're raising a family. We live in life and stuff like that. Try to get as much stuff automated as possible. Avoid taking on additional debt. You can put a little extra payments toward it, and having those just having communication with your lender. I'm just saying, the stuff that I'm sitting here telling you, I've done. Okay. You got to make sure that, again, regardless, when you start, growing your business and stuff, having contingency plans set up. We did that all whole time when I was in the military, and contingency plan nothing but your plan B, plan C, plan D. Because it's not if things are gonna happen, it's when things happen and how you're gonna be able to pivot and adjust to it. And that's how business is, right? It's not a damn fairy tale. I think sometimes, people look at it and say, well, man, I don't feel like going to work and I want to do this on, my business for myself. I always keep in mind the job has all the contingency plans already set up, right? You just got to just follow instructions what they tell you. When things go slow, they're going to tell you to do this. When some doors get closed, they're going to tell you to do this. All that stuff set up for you. When it's your baby, you got to figure all that kind of stuff out. And you just can't have, school of thought, man, I want to deal with it. That's not how it works. So you got to be mentally prepared to deal with the BS of being a business owner, along with all the bringing in the money and I feel like I'm a boss and all that kind of stuff. The other part of it is just, the adjusting and pivoting. But you got to make sure you have an open line set up with your lender. That's why, again, I always say, guys, it goes back to make sure you have a relationship with these people where you can call and say, hey, look, Deonte, look, man, I ain't even going to lie to you. Right now, I ain't going to have the money at the end of the month. Now, I'm going to break my neck to have it at the 15th and everything. But if not, can I give you 75% of it? Can you give me 80? Cool, I'll get that to you. Whatever you agree to, break your neck to keep your word. Because on the other side, remember, that's their job they got to protect. So they doing that stuff, and it's a relationship. If you can't do it, don't agree to it. If you can't do it, don't agree to it. If you can't do it, don't agree to it. Even if you're going to disappoint the lender, even if you feel like, okay, man, whatever, you can only do what you can do. Okay, but it got to be fair and it got to make sense. Okay, so listen, I hope this conversation helped you guys in regards to how to manage your new business, new business startup loan. Hope these tips helped you. I didn't get anybody to ask any questions or comments. Did anybody have any questions or comments in regards to business loans? Managing new business startup loans. No one had any questions or comments, anything. We're doing it. The floor yours and stuff. Again, we just want to have a quick conversation with you guys in regards to this particular subject. Hope everybody's doing fine. I just put a video out early today. If you do have a multi-member LLC or an S corporation, S corp, the filing deadline is March 15th, 2023, which is exactly 2 days from now. That is the deadline for, again, a multi-member LLC that files the Form 1065 or an S corp 1120S. And to know your multi-member LLC, that means it's more than one. It's more than one person that's a member of that LLC. So you're not filing with your personal return. You're filing on the Form 1065 and the 1120S, which is the form for a subchapter S corporation. The deadline is March 15th. If you know, if you're thinking about filing, but you're not sure how you're gonna get it done, just put the extension in now. You can put an extension in now and still make it on the deadline. The extension is to protect and cover you. But knowing the deadline is 2 days away, it behooves you to do it, because that's either $200 or $250 fine for being late. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. Well, you can just put an extension in right now to cover your tail, okay? Okay, I got a question right here. LT Wiggins, what's happening, Leo? You may have said it, but when shit happens, can the loan money be used to make a payment? Yeah, you can do that. Yeah. What you have, the question is, when things happen, can the loan money be used to make a payment? Yeah, you can. Just say if they give you $50,000 and you put the 50,000 in your particular account, right? It's in your account, and you got to pay $500 a month towards the payment. That's at your discretion. How you going to pay it? If you're paying it from the revenue that came into your company, or things got slow, you got the stuff sitting there, and you're just going to pull it from there. I don't advise you, but it is what it is. If you don't have any more money coming in, just go on and pay it. But at some point, exactly that as your money is decreasing, and your money is going to decrease quicker than the path of that the loan is decreasing. At some point, the money is going to run out. At some point, the money is going to the loan or the money from the loan is going to run out. So that's why we got to have a plan in place. Where if I'm borrowing again $1,000 at 5%, whatever I'm using the loan for, be it a truck, equipment, people, whatever, it's going to make money for me at a higher return than the cost it was to borrow, i.e. the interest rate. So just kind of had that thought process going in with doing that. So that's kind of, and again, when you're not really familiar how to lay that stuff out on paper, how to calculate that kind of stuff, get you somebody can do some consulting work for somebody, an accountant that can actually help you forecast and things like that. But you want to have that stuff in place. But it's not going to be the end all be all if you spend the money you got the loan to somebody to pay it back. But theoretically, like that ain't gonna work, because if you get a $50,000 loan, in the grand scheme of things on a $10,000 loan, you may end up paying $55,000 to $60,000. So we know we're going to spend more money. We're going to spend more money with the interest rate than if we just for using the loan. So again, it's going to actually get negative at some point. Will it be soon when they do it? No, it won't be. But again, if we're constantly going this way, out with the money and nothing coming in, it'll put us at a deficit eventually. But that is an option. You can do that. Again, I wouldn't advise it, but it is what it is. What you have is what you have. Okay. So if you have the situation where you have to do that and stuff, you can do that. What I would suggest you can also do is to protect yourself. Just say with when you get a loan like that, say if it's $50,000, you may say, well, look, I'm going to allocate 10% for emergency purposes. That may be for loan payments. That may be for so any what you ever be to deem an emergency outside of regular operating costs, and operating repair costs and things like that, or regular operating costs. But just one-time catastrophe stuff happening, things like that, you can allocate a certain percentage of it to help you. But we still want to make sure at the end of the day that our business is making money to be able to cover those costs. But again, it is what it is. Hope I answered your question with that. Appreciate that, brother. Let me see. Anybody else got a question? Anybody else got a question? See nobody else with a question. Okay, guys, y'all know Mr. Short Dollar ain't Mr. Cheap Dollar. You got me on now. I'm gonna ask you a question. Got anything? So, we got another. What you got? Do credit unions charge prepayment fees? Most institutions now don't really charge prepayment fees. That was like some stuff in the early 2000s with the predatory lending. Most of them don't charge it. Most of the banks don't even charge it. Major lenders that are regulated, they don't charge prepayment fees. That's the question. Do credit unions charge prepayment fees? So if you add an extra additional payment, they don't usually, they don't. Most regulated institutions, you may, if you're dealing with like hard money lenders and things like that, they may charge a prepayment penalty or something like that. But for the most part, regulated lenders, they don't really do that now. Those are things that happen, again, back in the old predatory lending days and things like that. So most of them, but again, those are conversations. It's a good question, but those are conversations that you can have with your lender. That's why I say it's so important to have a relationship with your bankers. Remember this, guys. This is a rule that I always push. Get access to capital when you don't need it. Get access to capital when you don't need it. So you're going to get your business credit cards, your business lines of credit. Do not wait till you need it, because then you press it. Get access to it when you don't need it. Okay. And how do you know when how do you know when you're going to need it when you don't need it? You don't. But you can go sit down with somebody and say, hey, let's gotta get a business line of credit. How much you need? Always ask for more than you're gonna need. So you ask for 100,000, so you turn to give you 75, but it's sitting there. It's sitting there. So if anything happens, you have it there. That's just a line of credit, not a loan. But you have access to it. And you have access to what? A relationship, a banker, just in case you need any kind of cash infusion, things like that. Okay. Remember, we're doing stuff the right way. You turn around and get this particular loan based off, you got a low credit score, you got certain things going. You understand how that's going to come. So we got to be smart about that, guys. We got to be smart about it. Now we're stuck with this loan, paying about 15 to 20% on that particular loan. Our revenue is our revenue. If the revenue is not coming at a rate higher than that loan payment, we're going to be in the red. Why put ourselves in a situation? Math always going to cover everything, okay? So we want to make sure that we cover on that from that perspective with that. Okay, what we got? Luxurious Looks. I like that name. Luxurious Looks. Do you recommend a business loan to start a business like Turo? I don't necessarily know if you want to you need a business loan to start a business like Turo, but I would say that if you want to get in Turo, you guys, if anyone knows, it's like a car share company, like a ride share, but it's a car share company where you can put cars that you own up and you can rent them out just like you was a car rental company. It's very good business model. But I would recommend two key things that anybody that's getting into Turo. I would want people to do as much homework as possible, learning that industry, because the issue that comes up with having any kind of rental car company, people are going to dog your car out. They're going to dog your car out. And you cannot be in love with that car that you have, because when they dog it out, you still got, you can go and try to have this insurance, have that insurance and stuff like that. It goes back to what we said before. The math got to work. So the money you feel like that I'm making on these particular cars, because it's cool to listen to people on social media saying I'm making this, I'm making that, this is my program and stuff like that. But mathematically, the money that you're making, you turn around and be putting that back into repairs, or losing that insurance premiums to cover those particular repairs. So with actually the lenders with doing it, it depends on what aspect you're trying to do. If you're trying to acquire vehicles, or you're trying to just get working capital to manage the particular company. So when you say we're doing it, that's the thing. Most lenders are not going to be so quick to give you funding on multiple. You may can get that one car and learn the business, and then from that point maybe leverage things out. But that's why it's so critical to have the relationships with doing it, because again, even when you find somebody that's going to front you a certain amount of money, remember what I said, the math is still the math. Barring that 10, 15, 20%, can you make revenue at that same rate to cover a profit? And most importantly, be able to pay those folks back their money. So I would always just say, invest in yourself, learn the business out, get your car, start off with one vehicle, learn it. I know you got people saying I was doing this, I had X amount of cars. That sounds good, but they them and you're you. And I would learn the business, and then from that point, maybe try to start leveraging things out. And you can see just mathematically if that stuff gonna work out for you or not. You can become super successful with it, but you can also become super homeless if the math don't work with doing that in particular. I hope I answered your question, Luxurious Looks. And if I didn't, please let me know, and I'll try to help you out as much as possible. Okay, cool. LT, we can explain the difference between a line of credit and a loan. Okay, cool. The question is, explain the difference between a line of credit and a loan. Okay, the difference with a line of credit is that when you go to a lender, they're giving you access to money. Okay, they're giving access to money. Okay, let me see. Luxurious Look says, yes, you did. Thank you. Definitely want to start one. Okay, cool. Awesome. Glad to help you out. Okay, back we doing the explanation in regards to the difference between a line of credit and a loan. Okay, the difference between a line of credit and a loan is the line of credit is access to a certain amount of money. So what happened is, just so we're going to use both examples of $50,000. So if you have a $50,000 line of credit, the actual lender is saying, okay, we'll give you access to that. So at any point in time, you can borrow from that 50,000. So you're not paying payments of 50,000. You can just go and just pull out $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, whatever, up to that $50,000. And the payments that what you borrow, if you just use $3,000, $5,000, you're making payments to pay that back. But you have access to $50,000. Okay, right? You have access to it. Usually, a lot of them they'll have like an annual fee. You may pay like $100 to keep the line of credit current. And just say you may not even use it, but you got access to it. But again, you have access to a certain amount of money, and you can just pull so much out as you go, and up to that particular point. So you just access. That's the line of credit. A loan is you're getting a whole $50,000, and it's set off over a certain a term. So you may say that you have a $50,000 loan at 5%. A 5% rate over a term of 4 or 5 years. And that's how that is broken out like that. Now, I will tell you this. I have a video, I have a business loans 101. The video on YouTube, go in you can look in the finance playlist. I break all this stuff down. I break all the different kind of business loan products, from business credit cards, business term loans, business lines of credit, invoice factoring, equipment factoring, all the different loan products that a business can have. I did a one-on-one video. It's probably about 30, 40 minutes long, but I broke it down. I did a whole PowerPoint, and I gave examples mathematically how it goes. So check that out. And I did that, and I think I did another. It was 2 different videos, but they're covering all that. And I was very descriptive. I'm not talking like I'm talking now. I actually had the slides with the examples, so you actually see the numbers and example of that. So definitely go to the video. You can look at business loans 101 or funding 101. But if you go on the playlist for Mr. Short, also anybody looking, make sure you subscribe to the channel. You can go to the finance playlist, and you'll see those videos. And I have a lot of different kind of products, where I broke it down as simple as possible. And it's like a PowerPoint presentation where I'm explaining it, but I'm also giving examples of it. Also, check out the video on personal guarantor. The personal guarantor, again, when you get a business loan, the business loan typically is in the business name and is on the tax ID number for the business. So it's not in your personal credit. But most lenders, majority of the lenders, will have somebody sign as a personal guarantor for the loan, right? And that person, in case the loan defaults, is liable for the loan. Check out that video where I explain that to you, and even sometimes how you can avoid being a personal guarantor, the pros and cons of having a loan where they don't require a personal guarantor is not most advantageous, because, again, it's going to be at a higher cost, because that is to protect the actual lender. So check that out and get a chance. But again, definitely go down that the finance playlist. I have a lot of videos, a lot of great information in regards to different business lending, where I do a explanation on that. I hope let me know, Leila, if that explained that to you or not. Let me know if I broke that down okay. But definitely, I know on that video, you can check that video out and you'll see the difference. What's up, Randy? What's going on? Long time no see. Okay, I got Free Spirit 5061 on TikTok saying what's going on. How you doing now? So you good to go? All right, brother. That's what I'm talking about. Anybody else got any questions? Again, we're talking about how to manage your new business, startup loans and stuff like that. We just went through a couple tips in regards to help you manage your new business, startup loans. You got anything? I just went through all those. Do you have any other questions before we sign off? Feel free. The floor is open and everything. Probably have a live feed on my other YouTube channel, Change the Lives. Change the Lives is more of a motivational parenting channel where we talk about a lot of good topics. We had a show last week. We discussed should there be mandatory DNA testing at childbirth. That was a very fun show. We got a good response from that. But again, we go over topics like that, relationships, children, raising kids, things like that. But that was a good show last week. Again, we discussed should there be mandatory DNA testing at childbirth. So check out Change the Lives, hosted by Deonte Burden, on YouTube when you get a chance as well. But also, guys, if you coming in on the tail end of this of the live feed, on the different platforms, because right now we're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Twitter. If you came in on the tail end or the middle of the live, Always, you can go to Mr. Short Dollar on YouTube. Again, that's Mr. Short Dollar on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. You can go back and look at this video, how to manage your new business startup loan. Look at the video in its entirety, okay? A lot of great information. Like I said, we got over 600 videos on the YouTube channel. 600 videos on the YouTube channel. I think we're maybe 26,000 subscribers. We're going to try to end the year with 50,000. Y'all got to try to help me reach my goal and stuff like that. So make sure you're sharing as much information about the channel as possible. And I appreciate all you guys tuning in. Might have another live feed later on this evening, not really for sure yet, but I do want to tell you guys I'm about to sign off. I appreciate all the love and support. But again, if anything comes across your mind later on, make sure you leave it on the comment sections of the video once we close out anything. And I promise you I'll come back, because I do check the comments on all the videos. So anything run across your mind later, make sure you leave it on the comment section and I'll respond back to it later. Take care of yourself, guys. Love you. Be safe, and I will talk with you soon.